Okay, so if you've watched any of our videos before, you'd know that a lot of Audis and Volkswagens and everything in this kind of family maybe don't have the, let's say, best reputation for build quality and reliability. But this generation of A4 isn't very old, so surely it can't be all that bad, right? Well, you know what? They are actually an improvement, but there's still so much we need to take you through, like some of the insane ownership costs. But first of all, what goes wrong with these? Let's kick off with the exterior. Okay, first of all, this is pretty common across the entire Audi and Volkswagen range, but the fuel filler doors can sometimes not open unless they've been encouraged almost violently. But here's the hot tip: if the car's out of warranty, you might not want to take it to your Audi dealership to get repaired, and we'll expand on that in a second. Okay, next up, a few owners have reported that they've had some issues with the rear parking sensors. The problem here is if one goes, it can take the whole lot out. Now, in saying that, we wouldn't call it a common problem as such, but it can happen. However, something that is a bit of a common issue across a whole bunch of different Volkswagens and Audis are issues with water leaks. The good news here, however, with the B9, they seem to have missed out on that issue so far. Don't get me wrong, like if you have a hunt through the owners groups and forums, you will find stories of people that have had water leakage issues in their B9s, but not to a point that we would regard as common at all yet. But if there are any water leakage issues, generally it comes from blocked sunroof drains. It is critical that you keep these clean. If you don't, the water can build up and it can cause all sorts of issues, especially with electronics, and that's going to be a nightmare. Now, if you crack the windscreen, this is not good news because you have to fit an Audi OEM windscreen. It's going to be bloody expensive. But this then opens up the conversation about something that I alluded to at the start of the video, which is just the cost of ownership when it comes to these things. Be warned, all of the OEM parts are going to ask huge premiums. For example, Daniel, that owns this car, for replacement rotors and pads, was quoted from Audi $4,000. We're not talking some premium high-performance braking package, just normal brakes that many owners also complain squeak incessantly, but that's a whole other issue. Look, when it comes to buying spare parts, do your homework, because plenty of owners have reported that they've saved a fortune buying aftermarket parts, and some of those aftermarket parts are actually higher build quality and last longer than the OEM stuff. Another big area owners have complained about with Audi dealerships and also European and Audi specialist mechanics and workshops is some of the discrepancies when it comes to labour charges. For example, some owners have found that certain workshops will charge a different hourly rate depending on what badge is bolted to the front of the car. So let's say, hypothetically, a particular workshop charges $150 an hour to work on a Skoda, but $250 to work on an Audi, when mechanically they're pretty much the exact same thing and the people working on it are the same humans. For us, that is bullshit behaviour. Look, overall, just like the